Later this month, August 26, 2023, we will be celebrating the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington. I remember the March on Washington. I was a junior at Livingstone College, and I had come home to Washington, D.C. for the summer. And I knew that the March on Washington was coming, and everybody knew. I mean, Washington went through a metamorphosis because they anticipated trouble with the March on Washington. The National Guards were out, the policemen were out, they canceled all kinds of baseball games and other things that were going on in the city. In other words, they thought there might be some kind of insurrection. So the city was prepared for it. But you know what? It was just as calm as it could be. I took the bus from my house. I took my younger sister with me. And we rode the bus from our house down to the Washington Mall, to the Lincoln Memorial Monument. And there were wall-to-wall people. I don't know if you can actually imagine the number of people that just covered that entire mall from the Lincoln Memorial all the way down to the Capitol. I mean, there were just people. There were buses that brought people to Washington from all over the United States. It was planned so beautifully by those civil rights workers at that time. There was not one bit of trouble at all. It was quiet. No one got arrested. Everybody looked nice. In those days, even though it was outside in August, men and women and children were dressed up. Men had on suits. Women had on dresses or skirts and blouses with heels. I mean, they came to Washington, D.C. to do business. And it was planned that way. And I was just so proud to be there. As a matter of fact, some people were up in trees. I didn't even have a chair to sit in. But I knew that it was going to be something remarkable. And to just hear Dr. Martin Luther King give his I Have a Dream speech was just something that I will never, ever forget. I remember being down on that mall. I remember seeing all of those people who came so that we might have a better life. You know, I don't understand why we have to protest and go through a lot of changes to get our just deserve. And of course, they had an agenda and they wanted just the right to live a prosperous life without being killed. And we needed our civil rights. I don't guess you can understand what it was all about. Some of you don't remember. Some of you were young. Some of you weren't even born at that time. But it was a remarkable time. And we still have to march. So buses will be coming again to Washington, D.C. on August 26th. Organizations will be joining in. The Divine Nine, along with other organizations, will be joining in. And buses will be coming from all over the country. I'm just hoping that it will be a time to remember, because we've got so much work to do still. I am having a difficult time trying to understand why we are not farther along in these 60 years. We should be farther along. But racism is still here. You would have thought that racism's ugly head would have been knocked down by this time. But this racist government, and they don't want us to do anything. They think that we're going to upset things, and they're the ones who started the whole thing by bringing us here. And they don't want to give us what we deserve as citizens of the United States. So I'm hoping that you will come to Washington and go down on the mall. Please don't start anything. Because if you start something, it's going to be something. You know us. You know how we do. Please don't bring any of those chairs.